Good morning, McGee. I'm privileged to have Sally Doty with me today. She is running for Senator for District 39, which does include parts of Simpson County. Sally has been with me a couple of times and I've always enjoyed interviewing her, and we talked as it got closer. We're only 2 weeks away from election, the 23rd on Tuesday, and I felt like this would be a good time for her to come and give you more specifics about her campaign and about the ideas that she has for moving Mississippi forward. So I'm going to let her do most of the talking.
Well, thank you, Sue. And first of all, I want to thank Simpson County. I had an overwhelming lead over here in Simpson County, and I appreciate the voters of Simpson County and their confidence in me. And I hope that you all will help me in this runoff on August 23rd, which is in 2 weeks.
I know, I can't believe it.
It is. I think there is a big choice in this election. You need to look specifically at me versus my opponent, of course. And while Sue and I only have a few minutes this morning, I want to invite you to go to my website. You'll be able to click on any of my ads on McGee News, and it'll take you right to my website. And I have a section on issues. I also have a questionnaire that we completed, the candidates completed in Brookhaven for the Daily Leader, the local newspaper, where my opponent and I both answered specific questions about education, job promotion, and I hope you will take some time to click on that link and look at my specific answers. And I think that will help you determine who you want to vote for in this election.
What were some of the questions that you had or dealt with and you felt like that your answers were stronger or more specific? Might be a better word.
Well, I do feel like my answers were more concrete. Of course, the first question and the first issue for most people in Mississippi is education. How will we fund education and how will we improve education? And I do have some more concrete responses. I've done a great deal of research in this area. I've talked to various people, school officials. I've spent a lot of time hands-on in classrooms myself by the virtue of the fact that I have 3 children in public schools. But as I began this campaign, I knew it was important for me to educate myself and know what we need here in Mississippi. Funding-wise, we first have to make the funding of the Mississippi Adequate Education Program a priority. Decisions are made about what will be funded. I believe unless we have some financial crisis, and we did a couple of years ago, but unless we have a total financial crisis, I believe we should make funding of MAEP a priority. And that may mean something else may have to go by the wayside, but I believe it will give our teachers a sense of stability. It will allow them to do their jobs, and it will allow us to make plans within our school districts. There are a lot of ideas floating around out there. For example, Chris Epps, who is our Commissioner of Corrections, his quote is, "We've got to decide when we're going to spend our money on these kids. Are we going to spend our money putting them in jail and keeping them incarcerated? Or are we going to spend our money educating them?" He proposes that for very low-level, non-violent drug offenders that we use GPS home monitoring systems rather than keeping them in a traditional jail. That would lower the cost from, I think it's $47 a day to $13 a day, which is quite
a huge amount.
savings. And that is just a common sense way that perhaps we could direct more of our state money to education. Certainly there are other ideas as well, but that is one specific. I also believe that in Mississippi we need to be more intentional about our high school students and what we're preparing them for. I believe that when every student graduates, they should be ready to go into a career or they should go to college. One of the two. There should not be much middle ground.
Right.
And this really is known as career tech prep, and I think we could do a better job with that in our state. I know some school districts have more of an emphasis on this than others, but I think a statewide push would really benefit our workforce in our state. because we all know that until we get our educational system up to par, you know, that is one of our major drawbacks in recruiting industry. That's the first thing that industries want to know about is tell me about your workforce, tell me about your labor force. And so I have some specific ideas. I also have some ideas about early childhood education. My opponent believes that perhaps we should add this. I think, I do not want to put words in his mouth, but we can barely fund what we have right now. I do not think this is the time to add early childhood education, but I believe there are ways that we can do it through existing structures and existing programs we have. We need to make sure all of our school districts work with the federal Head Start program and make sure we utilize all of the federal funds that we have. And we need to reach out to some of these children in the places that they are. You know, my children were in daycare for a while, they were at home for a while, they might have been with grandmother. I think that we can have some very low cost educational programs for our caregivers of our very youngest children. Some perhaps mentoring programs, things that will be a low cost way to get these kids ready for kindergarten. Because I don't think our preschoolers necessarily need to be sitting behind a desk. I don't think that is what prepares them to be successful in kindergarten. But I think if our caregivers had some guidelines, it would really be effective.
I can tell you have such a passion for education. But what I'm also so impressed about is that you've done a lot of research in this area. This is not something you just decided, oh, I believe this will be my platform. I think it comes from within your heart.
Yeah, it does. I grew up in the public education system and have watched my children go through the system, and I have been a hands-on participant in the Brookhaven school system. I've been in the classroom. I have worked to provide programs to increase literacy, health, and safety. And a couple of years ago, I realized I have a law degree. I've taught law school. I have all of these things in my background. Perhaps my skills are better used not as the PTA president, you know, on a broader level, and that is what I'm trying to do. I really want to be a force for education in our state. I have the time and energy to do that, and I hope you will help me by voting for me in this runoff election.
Well, I think this is very interesting, Sally. It's something that you as a voter need to consider. You need to look at what your opponent feels, and you need to listen to what Sally said. And as she informed you, that when you click on her ads on our website, you will be able to go to her website.
Yes.
That will give you detailed information. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you,
We
Sue.
look forward to your campaign and seeing how it goes,
and many of you will see me knocking on your door in the next 2 weeks. So we're coming by to visit.
So it won't be a stranger when you
Right.
see her. Thank you so much for listening to MageeNews.com, and that you will continue to watch. And if you have any questions at any time for Sally or any other candidate, feel free to contact me, Sue at MageeNews.com, and I will get them on to Sally. Got one more thing?
And I do, and I have on my website, my email, Facebook, or just give me a call. I always have my cell phone with me, and I am not hesitant to give out that number because I want to be accessible to the public. My number is 601-757-7446. Call me and let's discuss your concerns.
Can't beat that. I hope all of you have a good day, and thank you again for watching Magee News.